So, welcome back to another OOP series. Essentially, in this video, we're going to take a bit of a turn from the last video, and we're going to look at this scope resolution operator. As I said in the last part of the series, or the last video in the series, it sounds scary, but it's really not. Now, the scope resolution operator has a few uses, and in this video, we're specifically going to look at using it to access properties or methods within a class that we've overridden when we extend that particular class. And we're going to switch things around a bit in this code that we have now. So we have two construct methods, one in the parent class, or the main class here, this product, and then one in the extend class. We've already got this construct here, but we'll modify this very slightly. So I'll explain the modification carefully so it makes sense. When we instantiate a product, we want to pass it a type because it's a generic product type, and we may want to pass it, say, a price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new property here, and I'm going to call this price, and then I'm going to essentially just copy this method here, and it's going to be get product price, and here price. Okay, so we're returning the price using this method. Now in book, instead of our constructor taking a type, we want our constructor to take the amount of pages that this book has. We'll stick with the ISBN. So we want this book to take the ISBN. It wouldn't make sense allowing the product to take the ISBN because we don't know what kind of product it is. So here I'm going to say ISBN. Okay, and I'm going to remove this set to product ISBN because our constructor does that for us now. So we've got the code as it stands. Let's go ahead and start again with our instantiation and everything, just so we're extremely clear on this. Then we'll look at this scope resolution operator. So I'm going to say book equals new book. Now in here, what do I need to place? Well, within the book class that we've extended from product, we've got our constructor that takes in this ISBN. So you'd think that we could go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. You might also think, well, actually, we didn't create our constructor in here. So if we did have a constructor in here, what would we be setting? Well, we'd be setting the type and the price. So here we could say this type equals type, and we'll copy and paste that, and this price equals price. So let's start from the beginning. We'll create a new product, and we'll pass it a type. So I'll say book, and we'll pass it a price. I'll say $8.99. So now what we can do is with book, we can say book, and let's take a look at some of the methods we've got here. Get product price, for example. So if we say get product price, we can go ahead and echo this out and over to our browser, and we've got the value $8.99. So we know that this works. Now what happens if we want to go ahead and take advantage of our extended class? So we want to say new book. What do we pass here? Well, we know that book has a constructor which takes the ISBN, and we know product takes type and price. So essentially what we could do, at the moment it's not going to work, what we could do is pass it a type. So we said children's, and then we said our price, so $8.99, and then we pass it an ISBN. So I'm going to pass it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and get the product type and the product price. So echo this. In fact, let's just do it individually. It's going to make it a lot easier. So book get product type. Now we would expect children's to be displayed. So let's go ahead and refresh. That's right. So let's go ahead and now say get product price, and then we'll do the ISBN as well. So we need 3 here: get product type, get product price, and get product ISBN. So let's go ahead and refresh. Well, you'll see that we're just returning children. Nothing sort of seems to be working here, which is odd because, you know, we're passing through a variable and it's not working. Now, what actually is happening here is that we've overridden our product constructor class, and we've overridden that with construct. Now, if we didn't pass anything to here, you'll see that we'll get an error, and it says missing argument 1 for book construct. Okay, so we're missing the variable ISBN, when really the first thing that we want to be defining is type. So essentially this now has been rendered useless, and what we need to do is we need to use this is one method of doing it. There are better ways of doing it, particularly in this example, but this is going to demonstrate a point. We're going to use the scope resolution operator to actually call our original overridden constructor. Now, this doesn't just have to be with constructors. This can be with properties. It can be with methods. So if you're defining, say, constant properties, which we'll look at later, they pretty much look like this. We can use the scope resolution operator to retrieve them as well. Also, if these are public, we can use the scope resolution operator outside of a class as well. But we'll look at that in just a moment. So what we want to do now is we want to, when we construct this book, well, what do we want to do? We want to actually run our constructor from our parent class. So what we can do is we can use the scope resolution operator. So I'm going to do it this way first. I'm going to say product, and it's 2 colons. Okay. Now we can have either space here, but I'm just going to keep it all in one. So we're going to say product and then construct. Okay. So now when we refresh, we obviously have an error, but that's because we need to pass in some particular variables. So we obviously need our parentheses here. Let's go and pop them in. We need to pass in the type and the price. So what we can do is we can opt into actually take the type, the price, and the ISBN in here, so we can then pass this through to our original constructor. So that's quite confusing, so let's just go over this. Now, in product, we have a constructor which takes a type and a price. This is if you're instantiating the product class. We've extended the product class, and we've created a subclass which is called book. Now, when we create a new book, as we're doing here, we need to pass in the type, the price, the ISBN. The type and the price will be taken back to the original class, and these will be set with the values, and then we'll take this additional variable here, or this additional parameter, and we'll place it within the type within our book class. So essentially we're just saying, well, set the ISBN, but then go back and set the type and the price for our parent class as well, because that information is important as well, otherwise we wouldn't be extending our class. And we've done this by calling essentially our product class here. Now, we don't need to use product as the name, because obviously if you go ahead and you say change this this name at any point, and you change this here, if you have a lot of these with a scope resolution operator calling different properties or methods within your parent class, you're actually going to have to go ahead and change these. So what we can do is we can use parent, the parent keyword, and that essentially says, the parent of this, access the value of the parent of this. So we can use parent instead, and I'd recommend you do so. So now what are we going to do? Well, at the moment we're going to return an error, or several errors, because we haven't passed the required variables through, or the parameters through, which is type, price, ISBN. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say children's, as we did before, and you'll notice it's everything's becoming a lot easier now. We don't have to use separate methods to actually set things, and therefore we could actually go ahead and if we do have any set methods, we can get rid of them, but essentially we don't really want set methods. We can do it when we instantiate. Anyway, we'll go ahead and put a price in, we'll go ahead and put an ISBN in as well. Let's go ahead and refresh now. No errors, perfect. We can assume that everything's working correctly. Now what we can do is we can use the getProductType, the getProductPrice, and the getProductISBN methods to retrieve each value. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember, before it didn't quite work, so getProductType, and let's go ahead and make sure we echo that because we're only returning the data. Refresh. Oh, of course, hold on. Yeah, there we go. We need to set this ISBN, not this type. Okay, so that was a small mistake on my part. However, now that we're actually setting the right value to the right property, you see that we've returned children's with this. Let's go ahead and just copy and paste this line, and we'll say get product price, which obviously we're going to return $8.99. It's straight after it, but it doesn't matter. We're just outputting for demonstration. And now we'll say get product ISBN, and we refresh, and lo and behold, we have our ISBN on the end here. So essentially now we've instantiated this object, which is a subclass of our property class. We have access to all of the methods and indeed the properties within this as well. So we've used the scope resolution operator here to actually access an overridden method. So we've looked at the scope resolution operator and how we can use it to access methods that we've defined, that we've overridden. Try it with properties, try it with other methods, not just the construct method, and this is the main use of it in terms of what we're doing here. So make sure you understand that.